Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Resilient with your host, me, Wintertooth100. And in today's episode, it's going to be a talkie episode. We're going to talk about all the stuff we did between episodes 49 and episodes 50, because there's a lot of stuff that happened, and we're standing in the middle of it. In episode 49, we left off where we were working on the maze, or just finished the maze, something along those lines. And then I went silent for about a week. And in that week, I told myself we're not going to make any videos. Don't stress myself out with thinking about storylines that we have to come up with or anything like that, anything to talk about, and just focus on putting blocks down. And so that's what I did. We put a lot of blocks down. We also had to do a lot of grinding for a lot of blocks. Not going to designate any one specific one, but there's a lot of one type of material that took a lot of grinding to get, way more than I thought too. Like, I made several trips to go get it, thinking I had enough the first time, and then thinking I had enough the third time, and then thinking I had enough the fifth time. It required a lot for one particular block that we're just not gonna mention. We're just gonna leave it to its own world. It's not our problem. We're not gonna worry about that, whatever that one block may be. I did decide that I wanted either I knew I wanted statues over here. I knew that straight off, but I wasn't sure if I wanted soldiers with like spears crossing, or if I wanted like to go like a Japanese feel and make these like samurai with the straw hats with like not spears, but I guess they are spears, but they got the long curved blades on the end instead of a normal spear tip, like having those crossing. I really like the idea of having the two weapons crossing, but at the end of the day, I decided to bring it more closer to home for a more Zelda-esque theme. And at first I was looking for fairies for this to be like the fairy temple, because we haven't seen that in a Zelda game before. We have seen all sorts of mobs. We've even seen holes in the walls where fairies live, but we've never seen a temple dedicated to them, at least as far as I know. So I looked up how to make fairies, and I didn't find anything I liked. So I thought, what looks similar to a fairy but isn't quite a fairy? And then I thought, angels. Angels could look really good if it's done right. And fortunately, there is a YouTuber who did a really brilliant tutorial. These two statues are block for block for her specific tutorial. I did not invent these. I've said this many times. I am not a statue builder. No good at it. Probably never will be. But these were just too good to pass up. They look very close to fairy-esque, as I was kind of hoping for. They even got the feet in the back. You can see this little andesite bits right here. Those are the feet. I tried to make sure the face and the arms and the feet were all andesite, so we could see the skin. The smooth stone is like the dress. Cobblestone's the hair. Diorite is the wings. Which, by the way, diorite, am I right? That block turned out to be phenomenal for feathers. That block looks perfect. It was designed to be wings on an angel. I love the diorite for it, and I don't really like diorite, but it looks so great. Anyway, we're gonna move on from here. So we come through the maze. This is the doorway where you come out, and try not to get too close to it because there are command blocks in place to start and deactivate rain. But these are the three doors, which we'll have to close them all because I went through the whole process for the little video for episode 50. But you come through here. I built the statues before I knew what the rest of this was gonna look like, and had I known, I would have turned them. I would have made them face each other and put them back a little further. But I'm still really happy with them because when you're in the maze, you can, if you're looking for them, you can see them looking down upon you. So it's kind of like your beacon at the end of the tunnel. I really like them. But we're going to move on through here. You come up the stairs. There's plenty of room in here, so if we want to come back and add something secret, we have plenty of room to add new things to this, which I'm really excited for. But we're going to come through here. And right down in here we have these are mirror mazes. They're identical to each other except that they're mirrored images. Inside each of them our 3 treasure chests. The chests themselves aren't mirrored from each other, but we do have a couple little maze-like areas. And if we come through this one, I believe it's back through this way? Yes. We have a sort of way up, and there's a way up here, and I won't get into it. But that's how we're going to get on top of the walls. Moving on. Again, they're mirrored images, so it's the same on this side, except this side doesn't have a way up onto the wall. In fact, it even has like a boulder or a rock on top of the wall, so when you're up there you can't get on that section of the wall. We have to be pretty careful. We don't want to try to pillar up onto the walls. There are a lot of barrier blocks. So there was a little bit of creative mode use for this particular build, and that is specifically for the barrier blocks. So you guys can expect it in every single build we do. There will be barrier blocks, so in every single build we do, there will be some creative mode use to place the barrier blocks in. You may have noticed we do not have the sky. Optifine is officially 100% out, and with its 100% release, custom skies don't work. So yeah, we don't have a sky anymore. Dramatic skies is kind of working in that it makes the sun and the moon round, but that's it for custom skies. Only one of them kind of works, and it just makes our sun and moon round. So we'd have to use shaders if we want a special sky, and my computer doesn't run super well when we have shaders on for a long time, so that's why it's off. Can I fly? Can I fly? Yes, we can fly. It's a little framey. So yes, we wanted as much space as possible that we could get, so when we come back, we have as much free... Oh man, we're very laggy. It's quite laggy. We just have as much space as possible in here to build all of the puzzles. And it is quite a large thing. I'm pretty sure we can land on the top of the roof. I don't think there's any blocks up here. But you can see we got like a little courtyard down there. We got tall towers. We're at the tallest part of the build right now. And we have separate towers on either side. Front bits that poke out, so there's plenty of space in here to do some fun stuff. And from up here you can even see the mirrored mazes. The mirrored mazes, just a little side note, was not easy to make. I built one side randomly, just placing blocks, and then I had to come up here and look down at it and take a picture, and then put that picture into a program where I could flip it for a mirror, because I could not build this by looking at just this picture, just like that. I had to flip that picture so I could see how to build this side. I was very easily confused. We did spend a lot of bone meal. There's no purpose for the flowers other than that there's flowers out here, but we spent a lot of bone meal to get all those flowers. But I think it's worth it. I like it very much. And then of course the maze. But I'm gonna go close the maze up. I want to move on to the next section that we're going to be building in. It's going to be very similar to this one where we work on whatever the front bit's going to be, but in the next one we're actually going to build the temple together, because not doing a special episode for that so we can build it together. That's why we rushed through this temple and didn't do any progress together on camera, is so I could just have it done for episode 50. But again, let me go gather the rest of my things. I've already torn down the building at the very end, so everything is in Kakariko Village. Let me go gather everything, and we're going to head to the next place, and we're going to talk about what we're going to be building next. Also, one final note. You guys may have been wondering why the sun wasn't moving. When you've passed through this maze for the first time, the command blocks set in place stop it from moving any further in the daylight cycle. So I apologize for any of the members on Resilient who have hopped onto the server and realized it's been stuck daytime. It's because I've been here, but when you walk through here, it should clear up. Now the sun should start moving again. Shouldn't have any problems going. Basically the command blocks, when you move in there, take it to a specific time, and they turn off the daylight cycle, and it also turns into thunder. And then when you get to the other side, it just turns off the rain and thunder. It doesn't change it. So when you're in the Twilight Grove temple or the Twilight Grove section, it's always twilight. Always. It's always at the twilight part of the day. Anyway, let's get back to what we were doing. Alright, we've just grabbed all of our things. A bunch of stuff in the ender chest. Leaving Kakariko Village for the next section. There's one little thing I want to mention, and that is the trees. Not specifically these trees themselves, but the leaves on the trees. In the Optifine settings, even in the normal vanilla Minecraft without Optifine, in the settings, under trees, when you're playing this map, you're going to want to make sure that the trees are set to default and nothing else. The ability to see through the leaves, while it's not completely game breaking, will pull you out of the immersion of this map. And for maximum enjoyment for playing this map, you're going to want to be able to not be able to see through. Like, see, these are solid. You can't see through those. And that really adds a lot to this particular adventure map. So if you're going to play it, I highly recommend making sure you cannot see through the leaves. There's nothing really serious that it's going to ruin for you. But, for example, in the Twilight Grove, right outside the temple, there's a maze. Minor mazes, mind you, but there are some mazes. They're made completely out of leaves. And the ability to see through them is going to take some of that fun away from you. So I would just recommend making sure that the tree settings are set to default, and that will help maximize the amount of fun that you have playing this map. Anyway, we are headed to the next section. I'm going back to default where we were requested to build the temples in the order that you would play them in. And though this next temple is the right order that you would play them in, it isn't necessary for getting players in here to do the first temple. So we're going to be doing a section of this map that isn't going to help speed up the process for getting any players' boots on the ground to do the first temple. As we discussed a few episodes ago, where we would have a player come in when the first temple's ready, and then they can come in and do it, and then they'd be done. Then we'd build more stuff, and then they'd be able to come in and do the second temple, and then we'd build the next bit, and then be able to do the third temple. We won't be able to exactly do that if we build them in order. And like I said just now, we're going to do these in order. So we're going to start on a section that is not going to help us progress towards getting players into the map any sooner than as if we just completed the whole map. So if that's any indication as to where we're going, and it may or may not be, but I will see you guys when we are there. That's right, we are going to be coming into this, I'm going to call this like a western area. It just feels really western to me. We have to be very careful. There are lava pits all over the place here, so we need to be cautious of where we're walking and always kind of look where we're going. I've put up our little house already, our little workstation. This area is going to require a lot of work, so we'll probably be here for a while. Put all the boxes in the floor, because putting them on the walls was turning into a nightmare in the other areas. And we're going to have to sleep in a moment. But this big volcano thing, this is going to be mostly hollowed out, so a lot of our work over the next several episodes probably will involve some form of mining this out. So this is hollow. We also need to stay on top of sleeping. Look how many mobs spawned, and it was night for all of like 2 seconds. So many mobs. This is ridiculous. Oh my goodness. There's so many of them. There's barely nighttime. There's barely nighttime. But this area, let's see if we can get into the sky. This area is going to require a lot of little detail work, and I've been thinking about it a lot. So I know there's a lot of really cool things we could do here. I'm thinking about, in Twilight Princess, there is like a desert area, and there's a lot of like, it kind of looks like scaffolding, but they're like towers that just look like scaffolding material that have like goblins on top of them with their archers, and they're spread out periodically throughout the place. There's barricades that would like bridge like this gap here, and you'd have to do certain, in that particular game you'd get on the back of the bull thing and it would charge through it, and that's how you'd break through. So I'm thinking we do a lot of little things like that. There's like a lot of little goblin camps around here, and we can hide things here. We can make puzzles that maybe you have to find the key to get through the front door here, and that's gonna involve like pillaging through all of the goblin camps, and so you have to fight all the mobs there. I don't know what we're gonna do exactly for the mob itself, goblins. It might just be like husk camps, because they don't blow up or die in the sun. Blow up? They don't blow up either, I guess. But ultimately your goal is going to be to get into this volcano. This volcano is the temple. Obviously we're going to do some stuff to it, and I'm hoping to bring it to life so when you look at this you can see that it looks like the goblins have come in here. I'm going to keep calling them goblins. Like they've come in here and they're mining for something. Like you could tell that there's a thing here inside of the mountain. But this itself is the temple. So that's really fortunate for us. This one has a fun little thing that we get to do. And that is with using the new commands, where we can teleport cross dimension now. So we can actually teleport a player to a specific location in a specific dimension. So when we go in here, this is the fire temple. When we go in here, I expect there to be sections where you come to what you think is like a dead end, and I don't have any blocks on me. It seems like it's a dead end, right? And in the floor, you see like a pattern, kind of like this. I think I'm building this right. Yeah, kind of like this, except to be filled in, but it's like a circle with a dot in the middle. And if you walk up and stand into the center of the dot, that you'd be within the range for the command block to detect you, the player, and it would do a teleport on you and teleport you to a section of the temple that is actually inside the nether. So there's like, we can do a fire and brimstone theme in here, and then there's certain sections, the deeper you go into the temple, when you start reaching these teleport platforms, they're going to teleport you to an even deeper section of the temple where we're going to get that red glow that you get from the nether, because you'll literally be in the nether. And I'm really excited about doing that. So again, over the next few episodes, we're basically going to be mining this thing out. Maybe we'll work on a few structures per episode, and maybe we'll do like a back and forth thing with it and kind of work out the lore for this section, because there's a lot of fun stuff that can go into this area, and I'm really excited to get to work on it. But guys, I think that's going to be it for today's episode. I just wanted to catch you up on the Twilight Grove Temple and kind of give you a little taste of what we're going to be getting into for this next one. I promise we'll be doing all of this temple together. I know exactly what the item does for this temple, and with that, I can actually give myself the potion effect to replicate what that item's going to do for you, so we can build this temple. We can build this temple completely. The only thing with this temple that we couldn't do necessarily is incorporate Twilight Grove Temple's item into it. I know what that one does too, but that one's a lot harder to give to us. So since it's not the focus of this temple, we can create a section or two where having that item is necessary, but we don't need it to complete this temple when we're building it. It'll just be, we don't need it to build this temple. I'll just leave it at that. We don't need Twilight Grove's temple item to build this temple, because we need this temple's item to solve this temple, and we can give ourselves the potion effect. So we're totally going to build this temple completely through and through. Super excited to actually get to build a whole temple with you guys. So with that, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much if you watched episode 50. That took a lot of time and effort to put together. If you have not seen it, please go back and watch it. I'm really proud of it. I know it needs a lot of work. There's more we could have done to it, but I didn't want to spend more than a week putting that thing together, so you guys didn't have to wait that long. But please go take a look at it. Leave me your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like if you like. Subscribe if you haven't. Share with your friends. Hit that notification bell. And I see you guys in the next one.